Alright.
And they should be off here any second, hopefully. Pretty close together, but Prissy's feed might be a little bit ahead, but they're very, very close.
I think
Alright.
Prissy is cheating.
He's cheating? Very likely. Alright.
Started before Jesse.
Showing off that teeth mash right away too on that top dispenser. So we got these guys both running top first. Mega Man 3 has had quite a few route changes in the last 2 to 3 years. Top was the fastest route at one point, then it changed to Gemini, then it changed to Magnet, and now we're back to top first. So we've come full circle, and the runners have put in some pretty silly strats here to make this the fastest route again. So you're gonna see both these guys. Not this. The stage isn't that bad, but these cats do have a lot of hit points. They have 10 HP, so it takes quite a bit of shots to take them down. But these guys, again, good mashers, so don't have very many troubles there. Very nicely done. Oh, Cassio not quite getting the top jump. So the way this jump works is you actually are not quite able to make that jump, but because you jump through that other top, it pulls you to the right and sort of like gets you there, just barely. Prissy actually takes that little bit of time to wait and make sure he makes the jump.
Oh no.
So top is down. We've got some donations in there that have been sitting for a while, so I'll let you go ahead and read some of those, Eldra.
Alright. We had actually 3 donations from Kyle Precise for naming character and Chrono Triggers. He's saying Zipin for a $10 donation for Rockman and Rockman Forte, and for Science for naming Luca and Chrono Trigger for as Prissy, and $10 to name Chrono Cassio. So that's pretty neat.
Yeah, and we also had a couple more DACT putting more money towards Forte. So Forte is back in the lead for that bid war, guys, by about $10. And the Cov donated $100 to getting both these guys in. He didn't put in a incentive, so if you guys do want to put, or I know Dak did, but Cov, if you want to put your money towards something, just let us know.
Yep.
And Eldra will hopefully keep track of that for me.
I will try.
Here we go. Here's these jumps. This is why the top first route was so delayed for so long, basically. Is because this room with top spin is awful. But Prissy takes it a little bit safe, but he guarantees that he gets through without dying, and that's really important. So very nicely done there. So Shadow's finished. Cassio's into his jumps. Very clean here. Ooh, does have to backtrack a little bit on the one, but really nice room there by Cassio. Only really had to chicken out on the one. Those parachutes can be tricky because they do come down at varying heights. So that room is not the same every single time, which is another reason why it's kind of scary. And then also, when you hit something with top spin, it knocks you back. So there's a couple different ways to try to alleviate that, and that's what makes that room really, really tough to get through. But both these guys are through without dying, so really nicely done.
We also had the $20 donated by Big Fun Balls, saying, how much do I donate for big item 1? And there's also Nuduad that donated $30 and said, "Do not miss the laser," which is
I don't
gonna
get
be
it. What does that mean?
I wonder. And he donated
Well,
for a Belo person to get Little Z.
yeah, thank you guys for your donations. That's really awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So we're into Gemini now. Gemini's stage is very similar to the Gemini first route. There's pretty much nothing new added until you get to the water room, and then you're going to see some Shadow Blade strats probably come into play. But these guys basically have to be really careful. Prissy's coming into the room now, so there's a lot of these little single blocks that you have to be careful on because you want to slide on them all. But the problem is in Mega Man 3, if you're not careful, you can easily slide off these blocks because the game will not allow you to jump out of a slide for 8 frames. So if you start your slide too far to the right on a block, you can potentially put yourself in a scenario where you cannot even jump. You'll just slide off to your death. Prissy having a little bit of a heart attack there with that one enemy, the missile coming up, but he gets through that room. So that's a really key room to try to get through without taking a death. You do have Rush Marine as a backup here, but nobody wants to take a death. So really nice job there by Prissy. Cassio also in there right now. Oh, he went for the wiggle, but didn't quite make it. So Cassio is going to take that death. And also, Prissy having a pretty nice fight. So, yeah, Cassio has a wiggle there named after him based on the timing of the pause. You pause sort of mid-wiggle to try to see if you can get the little mini zip. You kind of get your head stuck in the ceiling there when you slide. And you can do like a little half-tile zip and make it to the block, but he didn't quite reach it, so... So Prissy's out of the hardest 3 stages now of 8 robots by far. That's the one nice thing about Top First, is you get through the hardest stages early, and then the last 5 stages are ideally a bit of a breeze in comparison, so... Cassio coming into his Gemini fight. So yeah, Prissy's into Needle. This is like one of the shortest stages in the game, if you don't count the Wily stages. It's very, very, very short. There's not a lot that can really go wrong other than a couple pits there in that checkpoint room that Prissy just finished, so he should be pretty much home free now. The biggest thing with this fight is because Needle dies really fast, the fight is pretty easy, but you don't want to miss a laser, because if you miss a laser, it will continually bounce around the room, and you won't be able to refire until it disappears. And this lags the game a lot, as well as delays you from being able to kill Needle, so really important that they don't miss a shot here on the fight. And unfortunately, there it is. Very, very short Nudua laser.
Nudua!
So yeah, Prissy is through Needle, Cassio about halfway through Needle, so he's got a little bit of ground to make up here with the unfortunate couple deaths, but definitely not out of it yet. There's some very tricky stuff coming up in the next little bit here, so...
Alright, we got $10 from Ørsted that says these gentlemen needs to go fast on the big stage, and I agree. They're both very good runners. And we have $100 by Facet CC that says, so psyched to watch these 2 races. Donation goes to the race winner choice. So
so we'll have to get that when they complete.
Pressure.
Yeah, these guys are into Magnet. Again, this prior to the Top First route being back on top, no pun intended. This was the fastest route in the world for a short time. But the big downside with it is these Yoku blocks. You can see Prissy has Rush Jet, and he can fly right over them. However, in the Magnet First route, you won't have that, so you actually have to do the Yoku Block puzzles, which makes the stage pretty slow in comparison, about 11 seconds, I think, slower. So it's pretty important and a really nice bonus for the top-end Gemini First routes over Magnet First. The other bonus here is you actually have Shadow Blade to take out Magnet. Prissy actually got a really good pattern, but Magnet kind of got away from him a bit, and now he's got to be a little bit careful because he cannot take another hit from Magnet's body. So just plays it a little bit safe, has to wait out a cycle, but he is through. Cassio, on the other hand, is going for the new route, which is Snake 5th. This route saves, I believe, one input menu, so it's not really much faster. We're talking however fast you can press your D-pad one more time. So very, very much basically the same, but faster. Nice, the little slide cancel there before the ladder. Not as big of a thing in the earlier Mega Man NES games before 6, but you do see them pop up every once in a while. So yeah, Prissy's now going to go to hard, and then he'll go to Snake afterwards. Whereas Cassio, after finishing Snake, will then go to Magnet and hard, the two stages that Prissy's already going to have finished by then. So takes it safe, doesn't go for the single blocks in Snake. That's probably pretty smart considering the couple deaths. Gets a kind of okay pattern from Snake, but it gets away from him a little bit. Meanwhile, Prissy is in Hardman stage. This stage is kind of interesting because there are no pits and no spikes in this stage. So the only way to actually die in this stage is by health depletion. And they kind of put in a bunch of enemies that are designed to take your health down quickly. They deal a lot of damage in comparison to some of the other stage enemies. And so it's kind of set up in a way that it's trying to kill you still, but they expect it to be from more mistakes as opposed to one just big mistake. Prissy getting that toe on that top ledge, really nice. Goes for the Shadow Blade kill, really nice. Shadow Blade actually does 2 damage to Proto instead of 1, so you actually don't need to hit Proto as many times with it. So if you don't miss, it's actually quite a bit quicker. So Prissy actually taking that hit from Hardman intentionally. Hardman, when he hits the ground, will sort of freeze you in place. But if you get hit by the bottom of Hardman's hitbox, he'll hit you immediately again, and that will knock you out of the stun animation and allow you to then kill him right away, and instead of having to wait for it to wear off. So really good fight there. So yeah, now you're going to see their routes start to sort of come together. Cassio will be going to hard here after Magnet, and you see Prissy now going into Snake. Prissy still with a bit of an advantage. Oh, Jet, please. Cassio totally saved time with that, by the way. Totally. Was worth it. But yeah, you can see why Jet is pretty powerful for Snake stage. So once you finish Needleman stage and you have Jet and Needle, you can pretty much do Snake at any time, but it really comes down to almost runner preference. Some of them are slightly faster than others depending on where you put it, but it's almost the same. Your menus will be a little bit different depending on where you stick it. These bees at the beginning of Hardman stage, they're actually pretty tricky to kill with Shadow Blade if you want your movement to also be optimal. And Cassio made that look really, really clean. Doing the other 2 routes, both with Gemini first and Magnet first, you actually have Magnet Missile for that stage. And it's really easy to kill the bees with it. However, you can't kill all 3 bees with Magnet because then you won't have enough missiles for the hardman fight. So you actually then have to kill it with coil, which is a little trickier. Requires not really great mashing, but it requires some decent mashing and good timing on your shots. So Prissy sort of getting an pattern as well. The ideal pattern from Snake is where he doesn't shoot his little snakes, because they create a lot of lag as well in the game. So you want him to just walk around, but both of them got sort of subpar patterns. But their routes now are converged, so you can see now how much time Prissy has at the moment over Cassio. And seeing that Buster kill on Proto instead of the Shadow kill there by Cassio. Proto has 28 health, so like 28 Buster shots as opposed to 14 Shadow Blades is basically what that fight is. It's just, the nice thing about Buster is if you do miss one shot, it doesn't end your fight, because you can have more than one Buster shot on the screen at once, whereas Shadow Blade, you have to wait for it to disappear before you can shoot again. So it's really important to not miss if you're doing the Shadow Blade fight. Good fight there by Cassio. So yeah, both these guys have mid to low mid 34s, so they're very, very good runners in this game. Both better than myself, which is pretty awesome. When I got my 34 in this game, I think I was in the top 5, and now I'm not even in the top 10, I don't think, anymore. Like, it's really cool to see Mega Man 3 community grow. There's a lot of people pushing this game and putting in a lot of effort, so definitely, if you're looking for a Mega Man game to get into, a lot of people like to pick 1 and 2, but don't forget about 3. This is a really good community game, and they have weekly races as well every week, so it's really helpful to get beginner runners in and learn stuff. Good fight there by Prissy. He got a crummy pattern, unfortunately, from Spark, but he got his toe back on top, so very close to the center. Something I actually didn't mention. You want to finish boss fights close to the middle, because Mega Man will walk there to get his power up after he kills the boss. So this last room you see Cassio in. It's a pretty safe room, actually, if you take those elevators carefully. It's actually easier if you know the speedrun than it is casually, so both Prissy and Cassio got through it fairly easily. Prissy now into his Docbot stages. So you may have noticed he did something here, and we have no more music. That is because what he did is he took a death on the exact same frame that he transitioned the screen. And in doing so, the game gets confused a little bit. It stops the music because it plays the death sound. However, it doesn't actually kill him because he's hit the transition. And so he can continue on without any music playing. And this is actually important because the music generates lag in this game. So by stopping the music here, he actually saves close to like 3 seconds just in this first half of the screen or stage. So it's actually pretty important to get that. It is possible to miss it even if you do the setup perfectly, the faster setup that is, but it's pretty uncommon. Usually you almost always get it. So Cassio electing to go to Doc Gemini first instead, so their routes are going to separate again a little bit. It doesn't matter what order you do the Doc bots in, so you can do them in whatever order you want, and as long as you beat all 4, it's really all that matters. So Prissy's already halfway through Doc Shadow, coming into these last couple screens here, and Cassio about halfway over to the Flash fight. Kind of a nice little nod to Mega Man 2 in this game, where you go back and refight all the Mega Man 2 Robot Masters. So you'll see 2 in each stage. We saw Woodman and Heatman here in Doc Shadow. And Cassio, we're going to see Flashman and Bubble Man, so. Prissy gets his double, so very nice. By hitting Heatman on the very first frame he activates out of his heat charge, he won't charge at you again, he won't go invulnerable, so you can get a double hit in. Once his iframes wear off, you can hit him again. So it cuts a little bit of the RNG out of the fight, which is really nice. So now Prissy in the same stage as Cassio, but he's got one stage complete, so... Oh, Cassio unfortunately taking a death there too, so... That was his third, but he definitely picked up a life somewhere, so he did not game over, thankfully. But he's gonna have to be careful of that, keep that in mind. It looks like he is on his last life now, so... Some of these spike rooms look pretty scary, like you see Cassio traversing this room right now. But even though your iframes look like they've worn off when you throw a Shadow Blade there, he is still invulnerable, so that's why he can still sort of slide on the spikes and survive. Prissy going for the top route. Kind of gets blocked a bit by the eggs, but gets through it. I want to say that was Triwave that looked into that skip. Ooh, gets the jump over Flash, but doesn't quite get his shots off. But Flash goes down and Bubble is down, so Cassio is through his first dock stage. Prissy 1.5 stages through. I'm not sure. Let's just take a quick peek at Cassio's audio here and see if he got the skip, just out of curiosity. We'll know right away. He did. Okay. So yeah, there's no audio there for Cassio either. So their routes again are gonna meet up after they finish these two stages, since they basically just did them in reverse order. But they could change again. I don't know what order they both do their last two dock bots in, so we'll see. Health is actually pretty important to manage in this first half of Dock Shadow. Like, you see Cassio getting bonked a couple times. That's kind of scary, because Woodman does do a lot of damage with his body, so you do have to be a little bit careful. His body and his leaf shield that he throws at you do quite a bit. And you purposefully get hit by it and use your iframes, basically, so you can mash him down and make the fight as quick as possible, but that's why you need that health to guarantee you can survive it. So Prissy's into Dock Needle. We're going to be seeing both Airman and Clashman here. Cassio, unfortunately, not getting enough drops to shoot the last couple enemies in this last room, but that's okay. He's through it. Oh, Prissy! Getting stuck down here in this one room. That's actually bad in a couple reasons. So Prissy does have an E-Tank, and we'll see if he elects to use it, because depending on how this pattern goes from Airman, you can take quite a bit of damage. So he's going for it, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes for him. This is kind of risky. Okay, so he's alive, but he has 2 health, which is kind of scary, because this next long room, the checkpoint is this room, but you don't really want to take a death, and like a silly screen wrap hit could be devastating. So Prissy's gonna have to pay attention here to these enemies, make sure they're not too low on the screen, so that if he jumps up, he doesn't screen wrap and take a death. They are gonna use the same route here, so we will not see any more route changes between the two, so it'll be easy to see who's in the lead now. This is very, it's making me very nervous. Don't want to accidentally slide into any of these giant Mets. So Cassio's finished air. Ooh, Prissy has to wait a little bit there. Decides to E-tank now. Probably a very good choice. This would be a very bad time to take a death. Because it would actually swap the lead. So, playing it very carefully there takes that E-tank used, and he should be well safe now. That is one of the nice things about the hard man stage, is because you pick up an E-tank, it's sort of in your way. It's unavoidable, basically, so you'll always have that in your back pocket. It's really nice to have, especially for like a race. And Crash is down. So, one more stage left in the dock bots for Prissy. And meanwhile, Cassio might have made up some ground here. It's been kind of hard to tell, but I think he's made up some ground, because he was definitely over half a stage behind now, and I'd say he's maybe about a third of a stage behind now, so. But Doc Spark also has a music despawn, like Doc Shadow, after the Metal Man fight. However, it's a lot more risky. Depending on the pixel that you get when you enter the first falling screen, you can sort of go for it. But if you die, the checkpoint is actually after the fall. So taking a death is really dangerous, because you have to go back to the beginning of the entire stage. And like if Prissy did that, he would basically even them up, likely give Cassio a short lead here. So he's going to have to be very careful and observe the pixel as closely as possible so he knows if he's safe or not. Here we go. Let's see if he goes for it. Ooh, that's a good one. He got it. Very nice. I believe that pixel was the 50-50, the one where you either get it or you don't. But if you don't get it, you don't die. Like, you're sub-pixeled to the safe side of the spikes. So, it was a free one to go for, and he got it. So this one doesn't save quite as much time as the Doc Shadow one. But that's because the stage, there's not a lot of stage remaining after that point, so you do save about a second and a half or so, but it's not quite as much. And we gotta finish here with Quick. Quick, again, very dangerous with body hits, so you want to make sure that you get contacted by the boomerangs and not his body to preserve your health, and Prissy has a really nice safe fight there. Again, you do want to try to kill bosses in the middle of the room, but sometimes it can't be helped. Ooh, I didn't see if Cassio went for a backup on the second screen. Let's see if he got it here. He also got it. Wow, so these guys both got both music despawns. Seriously sick. That's really awesome. The one in Spark is a lot harder to get. So Cassio also getting a drop there right as he slid, so that was really scary. So, both guys now through dock bots. Prissy about one break fight and a little bit of this cutscene ahead, so... again, a death or whatever can definitely even these guys out, but Cassio's starting to run out of time, because now that they're into the Wily stages, there's really only about, you know, a handful of places that things can really go wrong for Prissy, so... he's gonna kind of either need a mistake or something to happen to Prissy, I think.
Alright, we got $10 from Mr. Cab that says this goes to whatever Prissy wants, because he's a madman who goes for Dark Shadow in a race. Very nice. And he also donated $10 goes to Cassio, because he's also insane and went from the Dark Shadow music skip.
So, yeah, thanks, Cap, for those donations.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, a really, really risky thing to go for, but he got it. Okay, so Prissy's into the Kamigoro Maker fight. This is the biggest form of RNG in Mega Man 3. The Maker can either move to the left or to the right. If he moves to the left, you know you're going to get a bad turtle. And if he moves to the right, you're going to get a fast spawning turtle. Prissy kind of got a little bit below average luck there with quite a few lefts. The turtles always come out of the Maker in the same way. They'll always come out in the same pattern. But the way he moves is what tells you what you're going to get for a good pattern or a bad pattern. So Prissy's into Wily 2 now. This stage does not have a checkpoint, so if you die, you go back to the beginning. Which can be a little scary because there's a lot of these spikes here, and a lot of really quick sliding, so hopefully Prissy can get through this without too many issues. And meanwhile, Cassio getting through his Kamigoro Maker fight as well, so... Ooh! Yep, and there it is. And so with that death, Prissy's only a handful of seconds ahead of Cassio now.
Got the race.
This is actually really critical because depending on if their mashing is bad, the Yellow Devil fight, there is a 1 cycle to kill him. But if you miss it, you lose about 18 seconds. So for example, if Prissy misses it and Cassio gets it, this lead will change. Very, very critical death there, unfortunate for Prissy. But not uncommon to see deaths in this stage. It's very, very tricky if you're going to go for all these tiny little slides. Again, with that 8-frame slide rule. Ooh, Cassio didn't quite make that last jump, so he's going to have to menu back to Jet, and it'll cost him a few more seconds, but he is through without dying, so. So here we go, Yellow Devil. Like I said, we're looking for a 1 cycle, which means that when he forms, they're going to try to mash 10 Shadow Blades into his eye across the 2 jumps. So let's see if Prissy can get it. Really nice first jump, making the second jump really easy. So, easy. Really, really nice. Cassio's turn. Also getting it. Very nicely done by both these guys. So, Cassio unfortunately not picking up any time on Prissy there, but this race now is anybody's game. Prissy getting the 1-2 bullet. That's very, very tight timing. You gotta quickly cancel to get your jump off of rush. And Cassio also getting the 1-2 bullet, so really nice job. Movement needs to be very on par and on point to get that, so really good job. There's a trick coming up with this boss here where normally in Mega Man 3 you can't menu with a weapon on screen. Prissy toying with us and bringing Rush out to try to do that zip, but not in this race. But for whatever reason, the game doesn't check for lemons in that regard from Rush. So what he'll do is he'll shoot a lemon, and then he'll menu to top, and that will change the bullet to a top spin bullet and continue to pierce Copy Robot and kill him almost instantly, because this boss does not have iframes. So that's why it looks like the Robot Master, or the Copy Robot dies almost instantly. Alright, so here we go. Refights. Prissy's still got about a screen and a half lead, maybe. So very, very close between these two guys still. These refights are kind of interesting because they're routed in a way that you wouldn't normally think. Just because a boss has a weakness doesn't mean you have to use it. There are soft weaknesses in this game, and a lot of Robot Masters are actually weak to their own weapon. So you're going to actually see a few fights with the same weapon out, and that will cut down their menus a little bit.
Lightning donated $10. Prissy for the teeth mashing. Cassio is maybe pretty good too. Sick gamers needs to be showcased. And I also agree. And also Mr. Cav, who donated again $33. Remember when I said $1 per firework? That's 33 orange fireworks for the mute orange race. Bring them over.
These guys about to fight apart. There again, seeing really important to try not to miss these Gemini lasers. So they both have good refights there. Any little mistake could maybe bring Cassio closer, but kind of Magnet gets away from him a bit there, unfortunately, so that gives Prissy a little more breathing room. And he's through his refights, so he's only got 2 fights left, one with Wily Machine and one with Gamma.
Let's go.
So Prissy fires off a couple lag snakes. That helps make this this quick kill a little easier. By lagging the game, you can then jump up and mash snakes into Wily, and you have a lot more time when you lag the game. So, and both of them get that kill. So really nicely done by both guys. The timing is a little bit precise, but once you know it, it's very, very easy. So here we go. Prissy going into his Gamma fight. These guys really, really close, honestly. Compared to what we were almost expecting, that death from Prissy really brought it back together, but I think it might not be enough.
Are we gonna get Prissy Gamma?
Oh, I don't know. That's why I'm not saying it. Prissy looks like he's just gonna go for the safe, switch to top, and done. With a 36-21, it looked like. And Cassio is right behind him here. See how he decides to finish. He's going for the snake kill. Oh, he's 1 shot short, dude. It was close. And that's it. 36-39. GG's. Good race, boys.
Yep, good race. Get these guys over to AGDQ.
Yes, definitely. These are the guys that are going to be running the game in Mega Man 3 in the Classic Mega Relay. 2 of the 4. So definitely help these guys get there.
Yep.
All right, well, we've got one more Mega Man race coming up right next. It's got Mega Man 4 with